Welcome back. Today I've got a surprise for you. Check it out. I have been contemplating getting this thing for longer than I can remember. This is the speedybee Mario Mini 25 or Mario 25 Mini. It's one of them. I've been wanting to get something for a while that was a little bit bigger, 3S, something that could do some my style freestyle, more like a contemporary freestyle. That's what I call it. That's my patented word there. And I finally pulled the trigger. Haha, gun joke. And I ordered it on like a late Sunday evening, and I got it Father's Day. The Sunday before Father's Day. So it was literally like just shy of a week. It was there a day ahead of us and stuff like that. But shipping, super fast. Man, thing's dirty already. If you're new to flying, it can be very intimidating when you get something and setting it up. I've been doing this 13 plus years. Started off with the cheapy stuff and then got into building, tuning, all of that, and then now I am fully digital. That is the very fastest nutshell of the situation. And DJI is my choice. Forget about the brand and all that. It's ease of use. I trust the product. I am very happy. I had to switch to digital. I loved analog, and back in the day, you would never hear me say I'd be digital. I was analog, stubborn as shit, but I've gotten older. My eyes have changed. I need the HD and the style flying that I do, if you follow along. Slow, cinematic, tree canopy flying. I need to be able to see everything because every little detail means I'm not stuck 200 feet up in a tree somewhere or out in the middle of nowhere, over a river, God knows what. So that is why I went digital. Primarily fly slow, cinematic. With the Avata, I've got a couple HD whoops that I can fly in tiny little places. I got the Firefly that is fast and fun, not for cinematic stuff, but it can be tamed. So that's what led me to this. It's kind of sort of the best of both worlds. I have been only flying in the basement, really, because the weather has absolutely sucked here. Just doing a little test and tune. I did take it outside after I got it set up to make sure that it flew, everything was kosher, and then I began my tuning process. And I would have been doing a real maiden flight outside with the tune I put in it today, but it's raining. What a surprise. I haven't done anything other than props. I took off the canopy mount that it had. I had to kind of get creative and really is just a couple rubber isolators and change the screw length so I can fit my wide angle lens, so I have the 155 on there. As far as I know, I'm the only one running around with it. I've watched almost every video I could find out there with this thing that has the 04 Pro or the Lite, but nobody that mentions that they have done this. So that would be cool. If you've watched any of the other videos, you're going to get more technical detail than you will from this knucklehead right here. But basically, you've got a gorgeous canopy, and depending on which one you do, I don't know if the light's going to show it off. It's got the old school Mustang Pearl chameleon color on a transparent canopy, which is really wild. And that's what I'm printing right now, using the literal exact same color to print a case. So, right off the rip, the thing is smooth and it's fast as shit. I'm rocking Ovonics 650 milliamp for this thing, and I'm waiting for a couple more to show up. The ease of use for setting this thing up. You can do it with the app, but I did it on my computer. I had to activate the air unit through the DJI Consumer 2 app on the computer, which was very self-explanatory. Took me 5 minutes, and then it's go set this thing up in beta flight. I just had to change to S-Bus serial receiver, and then I had to turn off the TBS Crossfire, which is like 5 on the ports tab, and then turn on 2, which allowed the DJI, and literally set my switches, turn off the flip crash thing, which screwed me over because I'm like, it's not arming, what the F? And then I just scrolled down farther, saw that was there, turned that off, removed that bar, and then boom, it flies. I've probably flown 6 times in the basement, and it's kind of fast for the basement, but thankfully flying a million years has helped, and just feeling it out, getting the idea, because I've done it so much, I know what to expect from the quads. And I love this size platform. For me, between 3-inch, 2.5-inch is like my go-to size because it has a lot of power. It can be very nimble, get into places that some bigger ones can't, and then it can be really tame to get some of those shots, because if you follow along, not everything is just fast ripping. I plan shots, cinematic, it's slowed down, killer music. I could still do that with this for sure, but I want to be able to take it and play in the trees and then be able to, you know, S-turn over and be aggressive where the Avata doesn't let me do that. And that's a whole separate story that frustrates the shit out of me. I'm on my second Avata. The GPS broke on the first one, and I could sort of freestyle the shit out of that with no yaw wash. The one I got sent back to me does not do that. No matter what prop I do, the tune is exactly the same. I can't even roll. Even at mild throttle, if I roll, the thing gets all wonky. But I know its limitations. I found 4-blade props for it, and it's taken some of that shit out of it. But I got to be much more thoughtful of which way I go into it, and it's got to be really slow, and I got to be more on the throttle to not let it do it. But it allows me to not trust it. When you're flying something like this, or even bigger, like 5-inch, you don't have those problems. So if I want to fly fast and play in the trees and fly over them, that's why I got this guy. It's compact, like I said, no antenna hanging out. It's actually right inside here. One of the things I didn't know that it had is got some LEDs that are on the board. And yes, I said LEDs. That is kind of my shtick. That's my thing. Everything lights up like a Christmas tree. I own it and I love it. But when you go to ARM, lights on here white lights start flashing. Like, hey, look at me, pay attention. And then as you start to take off and get in the throttle, they start to pulse. And after that, I couldn't tell you because I've been flying it with the goggles. And I noticed when I come in with the battery tired, that they start to flash red because I'll flip my goggles off to land or check it out, and then it lets me know. So it's connected to the battery and what's going on in the flight controller, which is super, super cool. It does have ports to add some LEDs, but I think I'm going to just leave it alone. If I do, I may just put a bar on the back here just to, you know, for fun chase videos. It'll have some lights in the back that I can make like bright green or something super, super simple. And I have plenty of programmable, and which is cool is I got this beautiful, beautiful frame that I can wire around and inside or get up and through here, so you won't see anything. The plugs on this thing are awesome. You've got your flight controller at the top of the Type-C, you got your battery, and one of the coolest simple little features that everybody else talked about, which I have fallen in love with, is that your balance leads that usually on all your stuff floats around. You got to tuck it, a rubber band. You've got a little port right here that your balance lead tucks into, and then you just push it down and it disappears, and you don't ever have to worry about it flopping out. One of the gripes that I've seen with other people is if this canopy were to pop off with the camera attached, the way that it's designed in the board mount is sideways. You know, if the board is flat, the board plug for it is sideways instead of being upright. So if this thing were to rip off, instead of just pulling the plug, it's going to rip the whole thing off there. You could add some hot glue to the ends of that if you're super concerned, and that would probably solve that issue from ever happening. But by looking at the way this canopy is designed, where it's clipped by my thumb and finger, on each side here you have another kind of push stick, I don't even know what you want to call it, prong, and then there is a strap that wraps around that to hold them into place, and then it slides in from the front. I do not see this canopy going anywhere. Again, my flight style is not hardcore aggressive. I've seen some other, is it Joe Pro? I think he's one of my favorite flyers of all time. If you want to see what a quad can handle and do, and the abuse that it can take and how fast it'll go, he's the dude to watch. Absolutely amazed, and if it wasn't for him, I forget which video I was watching where he was just S-turning the shit out of this thing and flying around through the trees. That's what sold me, and literally while I was watching that, I was ordering, so shout to him. I did change the color of the props just because I wanted something a little bit brighter. They had some smoke colored props on here which match the canopy to a degree, but if you were to go down, this would help. There is a beeper built into the flight controller, so that's awesome to have. I do miss that on some of the smaller stuff I have, which disappears into wherever it crashes, and thank God if it wasn't for the DVR and the goggles, I would never have been able to find some of those. But I'm looking forward to getting some footage, some sunny days, and tearing ass with this thing because it is freaking awesome. I don't have any batteries in here with me. No. But I was shocked. I searched and researched and searched, and there's nobody that I could find that has this in the States. I had to use one of the two bigger across the seas websites to get it, and I was really sketched out about doing that, but the deal was really good. I had a bunch of coupons, and I got it in here in days short of a week. Let's call it that. So I mean that's awesome. So stay tuned. Any questions? If you're looking to get into it, I highly recommend it. Again, if you have Crossfire, it's already got the antenna and stuff wired and built in, so you can use your own remote. But if you want to go the way of DJI, like I've converted over to, my full-time controller is the RC3 now, so I'm learning to get used to the short sticks and doing a lot more sim time, trying to get used to it with throttle control, and then kind of using some expo and stuff, which I'm more new to try to tune that, you know, the jitters sometimes out and make them all fly the same way. So I got a lot of predictability between the quads, and I look forward to a new era and moving into a little bit faster stuff, because you know, I don't do the cinematic edits to please the world, because let's be real, the amount of views I get compared to the amount of time I put into it, it's ridiculous. You know, I'll edit for 3.5 hours for a 3 or 4 minute video. I'm lucky to get 40 hits, and I don't do it for that. I do it because it fills the desire, you know, and I love doing it. I get to express my creativity, and I have another tool in the arsenal that will allow me to do that. So if you follow, I appreciate you. I hit the 2K. We have started our Gap It 2.0 challenge. I put a couple videos out. If you're interested in entering the contest, I'm doing a giveaway, and hopefully this will not be the last, because there's a bunch of stuff I want to share with you guys and give back to the community, because I think that's missing. Too many egos running around in this community and FPV hobby, and I see pilots that barely have any numbers for subscribers that outdo some of these big names, and I enjoy watching a lot of them. And I always make it a point to comment on their videos, because positivity goes a long way in this hobby. In this world, there's not enough positivity, you know what I mean? So that is my Mario 2.5 mini 2.5, whatever it is. So stay tuned, and if you're interested, you know, let me know. I always ask for comments. I want to know what you think. Don't just watch a video, you know, join. And I guess YouTube's got this new messaging thing now, so you can direct talk to somebody and have a conversation. I think it's cool, because that's something I want to get more involved in, is talking with the people that watch the videos. Why do you watch? What do you want to see? What interests you the most? What's the cool stuff in the videos that you like? You know, that kind of stuff. So trying to engage, and F and Chet and I are working on another live video. We got a lot of stuff going on. We did a really fun rock crawling trip last weekend, and my TRX4 rolled down a bunch of hills and had some fun, broke a bunch of shit, but that's what it's about. It was great. So thanks for tuning in. God bless y'all. We'll see you soon.